And today, we reacting to the deadliest weapons from every time period. Nah, anything before a gun, I ain't losing to. I'm not gonna hold it. I'm a very combative guy, and I'm not gonna lie. You give me a sword, I promise you I'm not losing. You give me a katana any time period, I'm not losing. There's nothing. Matter of fact, anything after the musket, anything after the musket, I'm losing. Cause I'm not gonna lose to bow. He missed. Nah, he gotta pump everything and then I'm bum rushing him with a katana. I'm not. There's no Spartan, no samurai, no none that's beating me with a katana. But let's see every deadly weapon throughout history.
Here are the deadliest weapons from every time period in history. The Stone Age. Back when humans still slept in caves, the options for killing each other weren't quite as exciting as they are today. For most of the Stone Age, your best weapon was just that, a stone. They were surprisingly effective.
Okay, matter of fact, if we put it like this, it's like one-on-one, same weapon. I'm not losing to a caveman with a stone. Fuck, I look like losing to a caveman with a stone. Wait, I'm chucking it, nigga. Has. I'm chucking it. I'm chucking every stone. And you want to get up? I play rest, bruh. I know how to knock a nigga out with a stone. Come on now, I'm well versed. You better do your research about me. I ain't gonna hold it.
One hard hit with a rock is more than enough to crack a human skull like an egg. They also weren't too bad from a distance either. Thunk.
And I play Little League too, so I could throw it, bruh. I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm really putting a nigga down with a stone.
Eventually, someone had the brilliant idea to
I'm not gonna lie, I do believe in cavemen, but never we was that hairy back then. Like, it's just so crazy that we really went from caveman looking stone face built to just what we look like now. I find that so crazy.
put a sharpened stone on the end of a stick and call it a spear. Then, some 70,000 years ago, one guy was like, man, I hate that guy over there, but he's too far away to stab him with a spear or even throw a rock at him.
Okay, I forgot about a bow and arrow, right? I forgot about the bow and arrow. But listen. Listen, cause it's not me being egotistical, y'all. Y'all remember, I'm not egotistical with this. I'm not. Ooh, let me go back. I'm not egotistical, but this is a tough one. I ain't losing to no nigga with no bow and arrow. I'm not gonna lie to you. You better hope you got aim. And I promise you, you hit me anywhere that's anything below the body, you're not putting me down. I'm coming back for. I'm taking the arrow out. I'm doing everything I can. I'm getting you gone. I ain't gonna hold you. You gonna hate me, bro.
Ha! You missed. Ugh. Simple weapons like these were literally all that we had for most of our history as a species. But as civilizations around the world expanded, weapons were forced to become more advanced. The Bronze Age. Take, for example, the macuahuitl, an ancient weapon used by the Aztec civilization in Central America.
Nah, if I'm going against a regular smegular Aztec, I'm winning. I ain't gonna lie. Same weapon. I ain't gonna lie. I'm winning. But if it's something on some big swole Kotal Khan from Mortal Kombat kind of Aztec, it's gonna be a hard fought battle. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna have to remember though, he's very dumb. I'm fighting dirty, and I'm not here to fight clean. I'm hitting legs, I'm biting, I'm scratching, clawing out. I'm doing everything up under the sun to get that win, bro. I'm not losing to this. I'm telling you, it has to be a gun for me to lose. I'm not going for it.
This weapon combined the best parts of a wooden club and a dozen small daggers, with sharp obsidian blades on the sides that were there just to make sure the Aztecs' enemies could never survive the wounds this weapon inflicted. Though we all know how that ended up going. A less effective melee weapon with a much cooler story is the trident. It was primarily...
If you lose to a trident in that time, the Bronze Age, you deserve what you got. Who was you fighting? Aquaman? Who was you fighting? Aquaman? Who really was well versed out here just animated up, wielding the trident? Like, come on now, gang. Like, you deserve that death. You just suck at combat at that point.
used for fishing. How exciting. but it also got some action in the Roman Colosseum as the primary weapon of a type of gladiator called a retiarius. A retiarius was traditionally equipped with a trident, a small dagger, and a fishing net, and they would have little to no armor or even clothing. They'd be pitted against fighters with much more armor than them, and use their speed and agility to dodge their enemies' attacks, and try to tangle them in their net, while simultaneously trying to stab them with their trident. The trident typically only left small, non-fatal wounds so as to make the fight last longer for the entertainment of the audience. In any case, the most prevalent weapons in use during the Bronze Age had to have been slings, swords and spears of various types, including the Egyptian khopesh, as well as the shield. While useful in hand-to-hand combat,
I go crazy with a shield. Like, I fuck the game up with a shield, boy. Big Captain America, like, you know, shout out my boy Steve Rogers. Sword in one hand, don't matter which hand. Predominantly be my right hand. With the blocking with my left, sword in my right. I'm a hush, block, hush. I'm going crazy with it, bruh.
they were even better when used in
I'm the greatest gladiator to ever live. They would have loved me back then.
an army formation, such as the phalanx. Every soldier stood shoulder to shoulder as they advanced, completely unstoppable. These sorts of weapons were all well and good for fights between individuals or armies, but less effective at taking on the well-fortified castles common to the next period, the Middle Ages. Necessity is the mother of invention, and when the necessity is breaking into a palace and mercilessly slaughtering all your enemies, the inventions are siege weapons. Huge machines usually...
Okay. Nah, this is different, right? I'm thinking it's just plain, like, handheld weapons, not no Doofenshmirtz level contraptions, bro. So, with that being said, I would lose to this, I'm not gonna lie. Cause I'm seeing this, let's scenario, we in war, right? We brothers at arms, you know what I'm saying? We charging in Spartans. Next thing, or we just as a unit on horses, right? Boom, yah, right? Boom. We look up, we see a big old boulder coming down. All you hear is wow, and now we all dead. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, it's gonna look like the scene from Attack on Titan. Just a bunch of boulders getting chucked at us while we on horses. Like, I don't know. I couldn't see the wind coming out of this.
Usually operated by multiple soldiers that were great at tearing down the dreams of kings. There were so many types of siege weapons that I can't cover them all in this one video, so I'll just go over my favorites. The siege hook was a large device that could be used to literally just pull a wall down by grabbing it and yanking it away. Effective and very simple, 4 stars. The trebuchet was a device invented in ancient China. Larger and more deadly than a catapult, it could throw a stone weighing 200 pounds to a distance.
It's crazy, like, as dumb as these niggas was back then for believing in witches and witchcraft and not having medicine, but back then, they can make some weapons. They was that smart enough to make some deadly weapons. Like, I feel like that's all their brain power went into making deadly weapons. It had to have been, because there's no other way I can physically see these niggas just being smart in no other category but making, I want to make something to kill my enemies. Okay, I know what to make. Is this person a witch, or witch is real? Is magic's real, you're a witch, time to die.
Distance of up to 275 meters, or
Oh my
almost 3
God.
football fields. Very terrifying, 5 stars. The ballista was basically a giant, really destructive crossbow. The crossbow is already cool, and making it bigger is a good idea in my eyes. 5 stars. The battering ram was a log held by a bunch of soldiers that they would use to...
If my soldiers let this get through the building, or matter of fact, I'm gonna tell my soldiers, let them get through. Soon as that thing drop, let the room be empty. Bum rush these niggas from the outside, stab everybody, and bring me their heads. Simple as that. Come on now. No, I'm not going for this. This would not destroy my kingdom.
Hit walls and gates until they broke. How can you even call this a weapon? It may have been effective, but consider how annoying it would have been to use. Imagine the splinters in your skin, the smell of wood irritating your eyes, and the...
Matter of fact, like the last picture, we got the high ground. You don't bombard these niggas with bow and arrows, boulders, rocks, flamethrowers, with fire, whatever you gotta do. Crush these niggas.
pain if you all dropped it on your poor little toes. 0 stars.
I finally found something that makes healthy eating automatic, and no, I'm not gatekeeping. Here's how HelloFresh helps me reach my goal.
My channel is still small enough that I can easily read and reply to every comment I get, so please, let me know your
Man, y'all check out my boy, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love me some animation videos, I'm not gonna care.
favorite siege weapon in the comments. While technologies like this made armies more formidable on land, other civilizations were busy developing weapons to fight their enemies approaching from the sea. Introducing Greek fire. This was a sticky mixture that could be ignited and burned for hours, even when placed on water, making it incredibly dangerous for your average seafaring warmonger. Roman sailors would spray this
Out the ship though? That's not fair. That's basically cheating. That's the ye old nuke at that point. That's their version of a nuke, cause nigga, what? That's cheating. On in the water, fire shouldn't be a thing, bro. That's cheating. Like, what's up? You raid my boat, I raid yours. Okay, bet. Everybody draw their weapons and we fight like men. But you know, in combat, there ain't no rules, I guess. Well, obviously ain't no rules, but you know what I'm getting at.
flaming mixture onto their enemies' ships through tubes, or loaded into hand grenades before tossing them aboard their opponents' vessels. Greek fire was so effective that the Byzantine Empire couldn't afford to let their enemies discover the recipe to create it, and so it became a closely guarded secret. Even today, we don't know exactly how it was manufactured, but it's generally believed to be similar to a modern flammable liquid called napalm. We've come to a point in history where we can begin to discuss the invention of the weapon that fundamentally altered how wars were fought and changed our existence as a species forever. This weapon is the gun.
Nah, see, the gun, I'm not losing. That specific gun, I'm not losing. Like, cause if I miss and you miss, I'm going to charge you head first. I'm going to bash this gun over your cranium, and I'm going to keep bashing your skull in until I'm done. But I will say this though. How did they use this back then? I know you had to have impeccable aim. You had to have impeccable aim, because there is no way. Or matter of fact, who really? I know you felt like the man having this gun, but once you miss, I know you felt like, damn, I'm fucked, ain't I? Like I'm really fucked.
Modern guns are unreasonably effective at killing people. Just ask any American third grader, they'll tell you. In the year 950, the ancient Chinese decided to put a tube of gunpowder on the end of a traditional spear. When ignited, the tube would spray fire from one end at the attacker's victim. Eventually, they added debris and pellets to the gunpowder, which would also be ejected from the tube. This is the fire lance, and it's basically a spear, a flamethrower, and the world's first gun, all in one weapon. Personally, I would hate to be on the receiving end of this thing. This time period set the stage for a new level of innovation and cruelty in the creation of weapons.
I'm telling you, boy, wars back then. I mean, yeah, wars now still cruel, but wars back then were something on the level of you're gonna die. It's not gonna be fast. It's not gonna be painless. You're gonna feel everything, and you're gonna die the worst way possible. But fight for the kingdom, like nigga. What? I'm not going for that, bro. Y'all gonna just kill me right now, bro. I'm not fighting no war where a nigga has a spear, flamethrower, gun, all mixed in one. What do I do against that? Truly, what do I do against that?
The goal was no longer just to kill your enemies, it was to do it in the quickest, most destructive way possible, causing unimaginable pain and suffering so that anyone else would be too scared to fight you. As history shows, this sort of thing would only get worse. World Wars. World War I completely changed how our species approached violent conflict. The Industrial Revolution had just concluded a few decades.
Nah, see, tanks, all that, y'all. There ain't no. I'm done. There's nothing I can do against all that. Like, look at that. You know what? These tanks is mad tiny, like, but this just like early tanks.
Decades ago, and humanity had so many new technologies to try out for the purpose of killing. The soldiers of the First World War saw huge advancements in machine guns and grenades, as well as the invention of tanks and warplanes, which took the fighting to the skies. But these are not the most horrifying weapons used during this time. No, not by a long shot. Imagine you're a soldier in the trenches. You haven't seen any action for a few days now, and you and your fellow combatants are relaxed. You take turns keeping watch, but there's been no enemy activity to report. Suddenly,
I'll never forget. It was some movie I seen about I think some Kingsman, I think it was. It was something. I remember something. But he wanted to go to war and he went to war. Bro, this was a dangerous time. They slept in them trenches. Imagine poking your head out thinking everything is clear and bow. Your friend next, bow, everybody. Or throwing a grenade. Just imagine just thinking you cool and they throw a grenade in there. Like, I don't think this was the best strategy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this never seemed the best to me. I'm not gonna lie, as a war tactic, but hey, who am I? I'm not a general, bro.
however, your watchman calls for your attention. An enormous cloud of yellowish-brown smoke is on the horizon, being blown towards you by the wind at an alarming speed. You're a trained fighter, so normally you wouldn't be scared, but in this case, there is no enemy to shoot at. Your only chance is to run from this new horror, and run you do. It's not enough. You are enveloped by the gas completely, and your skin begins to blister as your eyes swell shut. Breathing becomes excruciatingly painful, and you are screaming.
This gotta be mustard gas, bruh. This gotta be mustard. Like, well, obviously because it's yellow, but it gotta be mustard gas.
So are your fellow soldiers, shocked and disoriented. If any of you somehow make it out of this cloud of mustard gas, you could remain alive suffering the effects for weeks.
Man, what? For weeks? Can you die from, like, if you survive it, but can you die from, like, long-term effects of mustard gas? Somebody in the comment section let me know, bruh.
Swollen lungs, blistered skin, vomiting, and blindness. Before you...
Nah, bro. See? Hey, niggas lay they lives down, bruh. Come on now. I can't, bro.
Finally succumb to death. Gas attacks of many varieties were used by both sides in World War I, but none were quite so horrifying as mustard gas. Eventually, international treaty laws would ban the use of toxic gas in combat, as the effects were seen as too inhumane.
This is my thing, right? With the whole... And I'm glad they do that because of the nukes and certain things, but I thought in war, it was, you know, there's no rules. Like, we fighting dirty, you're fighting dirty. We send spies, you send spies. We send bombs, you send bombs. We kill innocents, you kill innocents. So it's like, and I get chemical warfare can mess up a lot of things, but I just don't know how they can just say, hey, y'all don't use this, or hey, we won't use it if y'all don't use this. Like, it's like a nigga saying, hey, we finna have a shootout, but don't bring a gun. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, hey, don't fight me with a bat, fight me with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna tell them what not to bring? But I don't know all the politics. I don't know everything about it, but I just kind of find it crazy that that's a thing, though. I just find that crazy.
War that took the lives of 20 million people, that is saying something. World War I was truly the war to end all wars, until it wasn't anymore, when a certain Austrian painter decided he wanted to do some pretty terrible things. Poisonous gases were still used, of course, though in slightly different contexts. Like any other war, World War II started, it was fought for a while, countless people died screaming, and then it was over. The way this war concluded, however, is fundamentally different from any other war fought before or since. Here is the story of the final weapon.
I knew it was gonna be that nuke. That nuke scary though. That nuke is terrifying. Like, it's just one bad day from Putin, Kim Jong, Trump, whoever, saying, you know what? F it, I'm mad. Button. Then they press the button. Then they press the button. And we all fucked. And it's now it's fallout. You know? I feel like this should have never been created. I'm not gonna lie. This is something that should have never been created. This is too much power in anybody's hands. Cause any wrong fuck up, this shit can go so south. This is a world altering changer. Like this is the ender. This is like something that you can't come back from at all. There is no Chernobyl is still inhabitable. Every place that's dropped that had a nuke is inhabitable, bro. So why is it even a weapon? It's too dangerous, bro. And then look how high, how wide.
To put things simply, the Allies and the Axis powers were in an arms race. Both of them were trying to use recently discovered nuclear technology in order to make a bomb. The final bomb. A bomb so big and destructive the other side of the war would have no choice but to surrender. When an element known as uranium-235 is compressed sufficiently, it triggers an atomic chain reaction, creating exponential amounts of energy, and thus an enormous explosion. The Americans were the first to figure out how to apply this to a bomb, and not without many scientists and researchers dying to make it happen. Little Boy, the codename for the first nuclear bomb to be used in war, weighed over 9,000.
What was the first nuclear bomb named Little Boy? That's very odd. That's an odd thing. What the hell?
Pounds,
What the hell?
and was dropped over the Japanese city of Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. Tens of thousands of civilians died in the initial explosion, and countless more died of radiation sickness afterwards. World War II officially ended less than a month later. No matter how impressive your tiny mustache is, you can't fight an enemy that can rain horrifying death upon you from the sky. Unless, of course, you can rain it right back on them. Countries around the world entered a nuclear arms race to create the biggest, most destructive bombs possible. It was quickly discovered that the process of nuclear fusion, as opposed to fission, was more effective. This is the same process that occurs in the cores of stars, constantly for billions of years, recreated for a fraction of a second on Earth. The most powerful explosive to ever be created by humanity was called the Tsar Bomba, created by the Soviet Union and tested on October 30th, 1961. The devastating death cloud created by this explosion was 67 kilometers high, or about as tall as 8 Mount Everests stacked on top of each other. The
8 Mount Everest. 8. Like I said, I don't know why. I just want to know why. That's the biggest question.
nuclear bomb in all its terrifying forms is, hopefully, the last weapon humanity will ever need. There is no defense against it besides the fear that your enemy will retaliate with its own bombs, and thus no further developments are really necessary. Perhaps with this final nightmare, it's time for humanity as a species to move on, to stop killing each other and start doing something actually productive and meaningful. Such as hitting that subscribe button.
You know what? I like, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Cause y'all should hit that subscribe button for me and him. But with that being said, if y'all like that video, man, don't forget to hit the follow. I cannot talk. You know, my bad. Still get used to these outros. Don't forget, y'all like this video, man. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, like button, share it to a friend, auntie, cousin, sister, ex, boss, coworker, friend, a dog, whoever. Doesn't care. Discord link in the bio. Also, don't forget to join the TikTok. We be live there a lot of times playing retro games, new games, and just, you know what I'm saying? We're doing reactions too. But with that being said, I love all of y'all. I love all the sports I've been showing up. The channel been going crazy. We finna get to 2,000 subscribers. I'm going crazy this year, man. I'm dropping more videos for y'all every single chance I get. And y'all ain't got no more to say, so we done.